Hello everyone. A month ago, I released a demo for my horror game FESTERED on Steam and also participated in Steam Next Fest. In this episode, I'll take you through how I built a demo going from this to this in about 2 months. FESTERED is a PSX-style single-player horror game where you explore a decaying facility, searching for a way to escape. The game will feature permadeath, limited resources, non-linear exploration, multiple endings and more. But today, we're focusing mostly on the demo. If you're curious, you can even pause this video and try it on Steam right now. Just a heads up, this video will include spoilers. Okay, so today is the first day I'm working on the demo, and I thought it could be interesting if I recorded some voice lines and footage as I was building it to make it into a devlog later. I have a lot of ideas for now, so what I'll do is organize them in a document and come out with a plan with stuff I want to see in the demo or not. I also thought that it would be better if the game had some sort of intro sequence rather than tossing you directly inside the control room. For now, I have multiple ideas for it, but I'll probably go with the idea of making a PowerPoint introduction, like in the game Quark, and then some very short intro sequence forcing you to join the control room. And I'll record more of these later when I will have more stuff to show. Alright, so I've started working on the demo 11 days ago, and while progress has been a bit slow, I've made some solid improvements. Lately, I've been focusing on the intro sequence and started working on a generator room, which is a very important room that the player will encounter during the intro. I also revisited elements from the main game and decided to reuse and rework the red doors. Now, these doors will start locked and can only be opened from one side by pressing a button. This lets me guide the player while keeping the exploration natural. The idea is to have the facility loop back on itself, so as you progress, the world gradually expands, and previously inaccessible areas become part of your path. Instead of just moving from point A to point B, you'll unlock new routes, retrace your steps, and organically build a mental map of the facility. Alright, so this is a pretty big time jump. It's now early January, and Happy New Year, I guess. I did not do a lot of work on the past 2 weeks because of all the festivities, but I did do a few things. First thing first, I have completely blocked out and drawn the entire facility. I am currently finishing the hallways in Unity and started making the rooms too. I have also updated more than a few scripts because I want them to behave slightly differently in the demo. I've also been working on a countdown timer at the start of the game, and you'll need to reach the decontamination room before time runs out. Currently, the countdown is 40 seconds long, but we will see later if that's too short or not. I also had an idea and started writing logs and documents for the game. I don't want to overwhelm players with lore dumps and unnecessary informations, so instead these documents will contain useful but optional information like hints on item locations, for example. This way, I can reward players in a meaningful way and not completely punish the ones that don't want to read. And that's it for now. See you next update, I guess. Hi. Today is January 10th, and I thought about recording this because I've come up with a plan for the demo. So what I'll do is I'll be working on it until the end of the month, then I'll be using the remaining time before Steam Next Fest to polish it. I do not want to add new mechanics or anything major after that. I just want to be refining and finalizing everything to make sure that I have a bug-free and smooth experience. Because of that, I've sped up development a bit, and lastly, I've discovered that Steam now allows demos to have their own Steam page where people can leave reviews. So, I wrote a short description, gathered some assets, and sent it off for Steam's approval. I'm going to end it here and keep this update a little bit short, but I'm excited to see how that turns out. For this update, I wanted to talk briefly about something that I didn't talk about past devlogs, and it is the terminal in a control room. Basically, the game will feature a terminal that you can use to open doors, find clues, read documents, upgrade your hazmat suits, and open an electricity rerouting panel that allows you to control the facility. I also did an introduction that will play the first time the player turns on the computer, and I'm pretty happy about the results so far. The next thing I'm working on right now is decorating the rooms of the facility. To help me with this task, I have a 3D artist that I commissioned making some 3D models for me because I'm really bad at it and Blender looks like black magic to me. On top of that, I've started working on an intro that will look like a PowerPoint presentation video with another 2D artist. I specifically looked for an artist that specializes in this style, and when it's done, I will turn the scenes into a video, look for a voice actor, and add it at the start of the demo. Okay, so we are currently the 23rd and I'm currently finishing to decorate the rooms and hallways of the facility. Next, I've started coding effects for the different consumables and items the player will be able to encounter during the demo. For items, I took inspiration from Outlast Trials, and I came up with an idea that wasn't in my original plan. An emitter tool, a device that interacts with boxes scattered around the environment. These boxes can serve multiple purposes: opening doors, unlocking files, and revealing important documents. Instead of finding traditional notes, the player can download files to their terminal in a control room, allowing them to read them safely without worrying about the monster. Talking about the monster, I've also finished it. The AI was already done from the main game, so I just reused it. But I still needed a model and animations. Surprisingly, getting separate animations for the upper and lower body wasn't as difficult as I expected, even with its non-humanoid skeleton due to the cut-off arm and embedded knife. Really happy with how it turned out. Alright, so we are officially the 31st of January and I still have plenty of work to do. Normally, I'd have 24 days left until Steam Next Fest, but I'm leaving for vacation in 2.5 weeks, so I need to speed things up. I had a friend playtest the demo, and while most of my notes were bug fixes and small tweaks, I realized that some players might not enjoy relying on the computer too much. To address this, I added an alternative way to open red doors. You can now find some keys that lets you open the red doors from behind. These keys are also single use and not tied to any specific red door. So technically, you can open any of them with a key. My artist friend Fim has also been a huge help with this project. He made plenty of UI elements, is currently working on a map to replace the ugly placeholder I have right now, and had some great ideas like an orange dot that pings on the map for tracking the monster on the computer. Later, I thought that it would be better that instead of handing this info to the player right away, I decided to hide it inside the document they can find and read. This way, players are rewarded even more for reading files. I have a little bit more than a week left to finish this. Okay, so I forgot to mention this in the last update, but Steam has approved the demos page and build. Now, I'm just doing some finishing touches before release. Here's a few important things I've done. I added the finished map and finished the look of the electricity rerouting module. It's way cleaner now and I like it a lot. I had a last minute ID and added contaminated zones covered in yellow tops. They contain gas that drains your oxygen faster and hinder your vision. Based on feedback, I added monitors around the facility that helps you locate yourself and track the monster's position. I compiled a list of needed sounds and sent it to a friend working on audio and music to finalize everything. Lastly, I'm currently working on a PowerPoint style intro and reached out to a voice actor for voice lines. Alright, so it is done. Over the past few days, I've been playing the game over and over again to iron out any issues. Most of the issues have been AI-related adjustments to the difficulty, but some of the other things I've worked on the past few days include making a main menu and placing the correct sounds where they belong. I'm a little bit nervous because I know I won't be able to edit the game once I live in 2 days if a big issue pops up. And I also hope that the difficulty, the potential to lose progress, and the fact that the game doesn't hold your hand won't scare people off or leave them with a bad experience too. Lastly, I want to thank everyone who helped me on this project. I'm sure I've forgotten a few things, but at least it's done now. When I get back, I'll start working on this video and record an update about how Steam Fest went. Alright, so if you're still watching, here's how Steam Next Fest went for me. Before the event, I had 250 wishlists, which I was really happy about considering I'm pretty much a nobody when it comes to marketing. After Steam Fest, the game is now sitting at 1.8k wishlist, which honestly is not bad but a bit disappointing. In comparison, my last game, Lothful, had less than 50 wishlists before the fest, and it still managed to hit 2.2k wishlist after. But it is what it is. I also reached out to a few other devs, and apparently this fest was tough for smaller games overall. For example, in past events you could book 2 time slots to be featured on the front page while streaming. But for this fest, you couldn't, so maybe that played a role? I really don't know. Anyway, I'm really happy with the feedback I got, and I'm also glad that people got to experience a glimpse of what the final game will be like. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to wishlist Fested on Steam. You can play the demo right now if you haven't, and bye.